Ooh, look at that. Looks like we're finally going.
Yeah, I'm starting things off pretty quick with a Mire in Link's house.
Yeah, finding a mirror right away in Link's house. That's gonna make things interesting.
So obviously, Swamp Palace is going to be required.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
The Mire early is a super nice item to find. Just because when we do get to that Dark World access, it's going to make routing the overworld a lot more efficient. And kind of routing through the overworld is a bit more important in Keysanity compared to kind of an open-end standard where you want to focus on dungeons a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. We've got an interesting tree pull here. Most of our guys finding 4 bombs. And a GT small key here. We've got Willard, J. Bradley, and Almagus both deciding to go from Link's house to the Uncle route. While TGH went up from Sanctuary through the Lost Woods, and ACM decided to take the south route.
He's finding himself a Moon Pearl for that race game. I kind of personally prefer ACM's route here, down to the left and then farming for the bombs south of the Grove. Unfortunately, with the triple being bombs, I think in this particular case, Uncle for the 2 free items and then the triple is a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
TGH picking up that Hera big key in the Thieves' Hut in the Lost Woods.
Yeah, looks like we're getting our first Houlihan room from Willard here.
That Mire and big key access already. Looks like we might be seeing Hera as the first dungeon potentially. But yeah, Willard with the Houlihan room is a good way to get some early money. It's a pretty good start in Keysanity, but that's typically because you want to buy bombs. So I don't know if the bomb triple, I probably would have waited a little bit longer before rushing to do Houlihan. Although it is also nice for buying that bottle merchant item. Again, with Keysanity, more items in the item pool means you're less likely to just happen upon a 100 rupee piece or something in Kakariko.
Oh, we got the small key to Swamp Palace down here in Blind's Hut, and the big key to Desert Palace, so that's one we definitely want to have. Smoke Skullwood, small key, not that important, really.
Oh, not at all. You can clear Skullwoods 100% without bringing any keys from the outside. It can help make routing it a few seconds faster, but it's definitely one of the less desirable small keys. We got Ether in the well. Means we've already found 2 of the 3 medallions. So we probably won't be running into any medallion issues this seed.
Yeah, which is always nice, because if you have all the medallions, you don't have to go out of your way to check if you can actually open up Mire or Turtle Rock.
For sure. That can be a bit annoying when you're kind of like in quasi-go mode, but you're not sure on what the medallions are.
Looks like we're getting our first check into Eastern Palace here for El Magus.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Magus is kind of just going his own route, and he's rushing Eastern. Which in Keysanity is actually not a terrible play at all, but it's still kind of a less than typical play. But this is kind of what we were talking about before this match even started. Is we might see some less traditional calls in this race here.
Oh, we got the big key to Eastern from the bottle merchant. Willard just spotted. That's a little bit unfortunate. going to be finishing off the dungeon anyways, but he's going to be missing out on whatever is in that big chest here in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't know if it's important for a little while. Alright, TGH picked up his mirror now. He's gonna head south. Right on ACM's footsteps here.
Yeah, both on the way down to the dam and then over to the mini Moldome cave, most likely.
I can get used to that early mirror to do a block delete here. So I can do this in one trip. Now I just realized we have all 3 Light World big keys already, which is pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's our Quake Medallion. I've seen that apparently already from Almagus.
I guess finding the big key to Thieves Town in the back of Eastern. So I don't believe you found much of anything that's going to help him out right now.
Now, so far, Eastern kind of a dud. He'll probably have to come back for that later.
Yeah, hopefully he hasn't missed anything vital in that big chest. Oh! We got a hammer in the Molarm Cave.
That is pretty significant. That's their first real weapon here.
Yes, it's a strong, unlimited use weapon. And it means TGH and MLM are only the gloves away from Dark World access.
Yep, very true. Already got the mirror, which you don't need to access the Dark World, but it helps. Moon Pearl, obviously, and the hammer, and as you say, just a glove away.
Ooh, ACM takes a death to the Akarox there.
Oh, that's a painful death. We'll have to see if TGH can fish anything out of this. Unless he dies himself, hopefully not. There we go.
Yeah, because ACM's gonna take that hammer and he's gonna go clear out of Escape. I don't blame him, that's a long walk all the way back to Ice Cave. You kinda just hope that it's nothing important. And it's just the map to Swamp Palace, so... No big loss on his part.
Nope, didn't lose a lot. Willard just found out that the green pendant is in Skull Woods. Look like desert is a crystal number 5 to be exact. Alright, so now Willard also dipping into Eastern. Almagus just finishing up Kakariko, while TGH and ACM both starting on their escape. We don't really have too many places left here. Though I'm gonna assume they'll find a glove before anything weird like, you know, having to go through Agawon or something.
Yeah, for sure. Probably gonna find the glove soon, or possibly the flute to get up to Death Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really kind of watching that bottom right. I'm curious to see what Willard's gonna find in that big chest. There's a blue mail for ACM, and first chest and escape.
Alright, let's see. Just a heart container here for ACM. One more chest left on down this way. And then, well, he can't really get anywhere else, can he? He can maybe get to the Dark Sewers chest if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's about it. And that's not technically in the logic without that lamp.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a heart piece. And we got Willard in the bottom right here, coming up to this big chest that we didn't get to see. It's the
Oh,
flute!
man.
Oh, that's really bad for Elmagus.
That is really bad. It's really good for Willard, but it's really bad for Elmagus.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like he has now bought the big key from the bottle merchant for Eastern Palace, but I'm not sure when he's going to be back there. I mean, he's going to run out of places to check sooner rather than later, but that's still very unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Yeah, he still has escape that he could go to first, as well as the Moldorm Cave. He already went south and checked like the dam and stuff. But there's still the Moldorm Cave and escape. I don't know. I was worried about this because typically when you find that early big key, it unlocks something. There's a decent chance that the game's trying to tell you to go there.
Alright, so now Willard is done with Eastern and ACM is making his way in there, going to be grabbing his flute.
Omega's restocking on bombs. He's gonna head south and clear that Moldorm Cave and pick up his hammer. Meanwhile, ACM is moving through Eastern, as you mentioned, and TGH is hot on his heels. They've been following very similar routes so far.
Yeah, they've really been very close for all this time, with TGH just lagging behind a tiny bit.
Willard's activating his flute. Let's see. He hasn't actually gone south and picked up his hammer from that Moldorm Cave yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna flute there relatively soon, unless he immediately goes up to Death Mountain. Yep, there we go.
There we go. But I imagine once he picks that up, he's gonna head up to Death Mountain. Because it's that Mire and hammer and flute. And the Hera big key, that means you can go right up in there, march on up to Moldorm, and kick some worm butt.
Yep, with the hammer in hand, it's not even too bad. So I'm unsure if TGH is in here without the big key, but our tracker is to be believed he also doesn't have the big key, which would mean he could also not be grabbing his flute.
Yeah, that would be very costly if that's the case. Which it very well could be. Given his starting route, I don't know if he had the money for the bottle merchant when he was in Kakariko.
Yeah, I think that was the problem.
And we had seen a fake flipper from Elmagus.
Yeah, checking up to Hobo, I mean, he's here, why not? But,
Yeah.
as
If
you
you're gonna
say... Oh, sorry,
The
go ahead.
walk. I'm sorry. If you're gonna take the walk over to Ice Cave and you have that Moon Pearl, a quick fake flipper trip might be worth it. Might find something to help you out. I'd say things aren't very likely at this point.
We've got Willard up on top of Death Mountain here, making his way to Hera, I'm gonna assume, as I think the first of our featured runners here.
Yeah, Willard's the first to put all the tools together to get up here. He's gonna head over to East Death Mountain first.
Yeah, maybe doesn't want to head in there without a fire source or something. Or maybe get some information here first. Yeah, checks out what's on the floating island. Alright. TGH looks to be heading back into Kakariko, which is good. I hope he's using his funds to... Yeah, looks like he's checking the bottle merchant. Gonna be a little bit bummed about getting that key now, but I hope it leads him right back.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be kicking himself over that one. Meanwhile, Omegas is gonna take his turn to go clear out Escape. And we have Willard heading into Paradox Cave.
We're also getting, I believe, our first Agina check while Willard grabs a bow.
Well, hello. Well, that means he can go back to Eastern at his leisure and clear out Armos.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and an arrow for it.
And a map to Thieves Town. Having no luck here with his arrows. Oh. Oh boy, please don't die, Willard.
Yeah, please don't die. These, yeah, there we go. Use the hammer. These mini Moldarm's hitbox and their movement is a little too erratic. That hitting them with the bow is a little trickier.
Very nicely done. Oh, man. And the power glove. That would have been even more painful of a death if he had died in there.
Alright. So I guess he's not quite ready to check out Hera.
That's Darkworld axes.
Yeah, now that he's got that power glove, I don't blame him.
Looks like he'll be heading there immediately. You can always couple the Eastern Palace finish off with the pod now that they have the mirror and the flute as well. So fluting to 5 and just going to the Dark World there and then mirroring back once you're done with pod.
It's definitely a possibility, and with the bow and hammer already, I know Willard knows how to do bomb jump and stuff. He'll be able to clear out all of pod with just 4 small keys. But I don't think we've seen any pod keys yet. There's
No, I don't believe so.
Now we have ACMLM up on top. He's heading into Hera. So we're gonna get our first look into Hera here.
Just a piece of heart in the basement.
Without the small key and a fire source, you won't be able to check out the other basement chest. But you will be able to snag the other 5 items here and whatever prize Moldarm is holding.
Mm-hmm. We still have no idea if this is a crystal or a pendant dungeon, but it looks like ACM is determined to find out.
Yeah, typically this early in a Keysanity seed, you're not going to have that kind of information. It's not super relevant. You kind of just do whatever dungeons you have access to. I think, yeah, like I said, getting up here with that mirror and hammer and the big key makes a lot of sense to me to just clear this out. It's quick enough anyway.
Small key on the pyramid while we see both TGH and Elmagus heading back into Easter now. Ice Palace small key, one of them is nice, I guess.
Yeah, and we got a pod big key and Hera for ACM.
Ooh, that's a big one. Looks like Willard with his newfound lamp wants to check out the sewers and could potentially be checking the back of Escape if he finds a small key. With a glove, he can also access it from the sanctuary pretty easily.
Yeah, and he still has the trip down to Zelda's jail cell to go check too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's got from him right now as well.
Yeah, true.
Since he's got that mirror, he can just mirror back out real quick. And then when he's done, he can pop back over into the Dark World and continue on his way.
Looks like ACM had no problems with the Troll Dorm fight here in Hera. I sadly missed what he dropped.
He dropped the small key to Hera and a crystal.
Oh, great. Well, at least it was a crystal, but that means we've got 3 crystal dungeons in the Light World, so... Normally, I'd say we might get generous pendant dungeons, but in Keysanity, that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, so unfortunately, obviously ACM doesn't have a light source, so you can't do the other basement in Hera. So he's gonna go over to East Death Mountain, which he'll find that glove and that bow that Willard already found over here. And depending on what's left in Hera, it might have been the right call for Willard to save it for later. Because once he goes up there and clears out Moldorm, he'll be able to head right down into the basement with that lamp.
Yeah, he does have a fire source already. We'll have to see. ACMLM is going to be the second runner here featured on stream that will be grabbing his Dark World access now as soon as he enters the Paradox Cave.
Yeah, fortunately, TGH is now up in Hera himself. And Magus is in the dark cave trying to escort the old man back home. So they're early routing, missing out on that Eastern Palace big chest. Definitely hurt them some, but they're not too terribly far behind relative to ACM.
Yeah, it hurt them a little bit, but thankfully they didn't, grab a random Dark World access or something somewhere that led them away from it.
Willard checking the street chest in the back of Escape, finding 50 rupees and 15 extra bomb capacity. Oh, baby.
Exactly what we want to see. Oh, looks like TGH took an unfortunate fall there.
Yeah, he was going for the bootless bomb jump, which means you have to be only 1 or 2 pixels away from that pit to make it across. If you have the boots, you can bonk on the wall there, and that gives you a buffer, giving you a 6-pixel window, which makes it significantly easier and eliminates the risk of falling off. Unfortunately, falling down that hole causes you to fall 2 floors. So that's a bit of a time sink.
And all of that for 5 extra arrow capacity. It's like ACM will be the first one to give us a glimpse into Skull Woods here.
Yeah, and this is where picking up those early Skullwoods keys can help make this a little bit more efficient. You can just open up this chest, go up here, open up this next chest, and head right, without kind of having to route back down into that bottom right room that's guaranteed to be a small key.
Yeah, being able to skip that trap room is just very convenient.
Yeah, it doesn't save a ton of time, but it is nice. I'm getting a look at the Dark World map on Willard's screen. We have Crystal 6 in Thieves Town, 2 and 4 in Mire and Pod, and then a pendant in Ice Palace. That leaves Swamp, Turtle Rock, and Skull Woods, with 2 of them being crystals, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
Or no, 2 of them being pendants, rather. Because you said all Light World are crystals, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, Willard needs to be a little careful here. Was just in half a heart, is now down to 1 heart because we found a heart container.
Oh, and there's the Titan's Mitts in the Vanilla Big Key spot in Skull Woods for ACM.
Oh, that's another huge find.
Yeah, that's going to open up a lot of options in the Dark World for him.
Yeah, and the first thing I'm thinking of is the Mire area. But of course, he has a couple more things to check over here first. Going to be checking out what's on Bumper Cave. It's going to be worthwhile coming back for.
Is that the Ice Rod? It is.
It is the Ice Rod. Oh, man.
We have a decent chance that Turtle Rock is going to be a pendant, though. As I mentioned, we could have a Turtle Rock Skullwoods pendant seed, which would make Fire Rod potentially not required.
Yeah, we already know that Skullwoods is our green pendant from Sahasrara, and we already saw that Ice Palace is the blue pendant, so we're only really missing the red pendant.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Skullwoods green pendant, the Sahasrara check. Yeah, that means either Swamp or Turtle Rock is going to be the remaining pendant.
It looks like we've switched in Big Dunker here for El Magus on the lower left. Currently making his way through Skullwoods as well. Going to be grabbing his Titan Smith by the looks of it.
And we got Willard going toe-to-toe with the Big Worm himself. Three quick hammers, taking him out. So he's going to pick up the small key to Hera and a crystal.
And TGA just showed us that Swamp Palace is the red pendant, so we've seen our red pendant, and we're definitely going to be needing that Ice Rod.
That is useful knowledge to have. Okay, Willard picking up that small key, heading right back into Hera. So we're going to get to see what ACM missed out on this basement in just a minute here.
Yeah, we're the first guy in here with an actual fire source. TGH also missing out in the basement. Yeah, we'll see if it's anything worthwhile, as you said.
Yeah, I know when I'm playing Keysanity, I always get suspicious of these kind of keys that only unlock one location.
Big Dunker just picked up a cape and the big key to Swamp Palace from the Mire shed. He's the first one to check this area, looks like.
Very nice. That's going to be the access to that Ice Rod up on Bumper Cave there.
Yep, so that's one less worry to have. 2
We got ACM clearing out Thieves Town. We got that early Thieves Town big key. So, might as well clear his way through here. Looks like we're gonna have Big Dunka take a look into Desert. He has the big key for it. And he has a fire source, so potentially clear everything out with that right side, which requires a small key. Looks like the shovel was that Hera basement item for Willard.
Well, could be something good, I guess. Another thing to keep in mind is Big Dunka is now clearing out the palace, or the first crystal that is Pyramid Fairy Crystal, the other one being Thieves Town, which he also has full access to. Though I believe he needs a small key, right? At least one of them.
For which one?
Thieves Town.
The small key gives you access to the big chest. The one extra small key for Thieves Town.
Ah, right.
But the dungeon's fully clearable outside of that with just the big key. Although ACMLM did decide to leave after checking the front 4. So maybe ACMLM's holding out to find the small key before he finishes that up.
Mm-hmm. We've apparently had flippers on Catfish for TGH here, who is immediately flippering back and going over to Hobo, I'm guessing? I thought he checked there earlier.
I think when Elmegus was on the screen, he was the only one that went up there and fake flippered his way up there to check it early.
Oh, okay.
I believe it just ended up being a small key to like Misery Mire or something. Not particularly helpful.
Yeah, not too great.
No, never mind. It was a big key to Misery Mire. Never mind. That's gonna be important.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one.
That's a different one.
We've got a fire rod from the digging game for one of our runners here. ACM looks like also bringing back the frog now. So we've got both our rods found already. We know where the cape is, so we can access the ice rod. It means we really only need Cane of Samaria, I guess, and the right medallion, you know, that really shouldn't be too much of a problem for these guys.
Yeah, with 2 in hand already, odds are they have the Turtle Rock access. But we still haven't seen the Turtle Rock big key yet. And I'm not sure if we've actually really seen any small keys for it either.
No, you're completely right. We haven't seen anything Turtle Rock yet. We've already found quite a surprising number of big keys, but the small keys have been kind of hiding out, I guess.
Red rupee from the blacksmith. And then we have a crystal from Desert for Big Dunka.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like he's cleared out all 3 Light World dungeons already. Which definitely puts him ahead in the crystal count so far.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, there's really, depending on how the seed leads you, obviously, but there's not necessarily a need to do it like that. But, I don't know. I like finishing up the Light World before venturing into the Dark World if possible.
Yeah, especially in Keysanity, it can be kind of hard to pair dungeons with their Dark World counterparts like you typically would want to. As you mentioned earlier, maybe Lord was holding out to finish like Eastern with Pod or something. The unfortunate thing about that is who knows how long it's going to be until you have enough small keys to pair those dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
So finishing dungeons early in Keysanity is not a bad idea.
Looks like ACM is giving the little Gary's lunchbox here the big tour. Gonna be opening up Hype Cave now and grabbing all the stuff from there. As far as I remember, really only the lamp was of any interest in here.
Yeah, I think it was just the lamp, and we have a mushroom next to blind for Willard.
Willard picking up all the fetch quests, it looks like.
Yep. We got Willard heading into blind fight. And the hammer is the only weapon he has that's going to be able to actually do damage to blind. Which is a trickier weapon to fight blind with, but it can be a lot of fun. It's also might be why ACM LM decided to come back later.
Yeah, it definitely makes the fight a little bit trickier depending on how he moves and, you know, just the hammer hitbox in general.
Yeah, a lot of the people who speedrun this a lot are really used to fighting this fight with a sword, where you typically just do the same thing every time. Because as long as you do the same thing, blind reacts the same way, and it kind of becomes scripted. With the hammer, that's not really possible. So there's a little bit more improvisation. But with 9+ hearts and blue mail, it's not too bad.
ACM now picking up his cape there in the Mire shed, so he is aware that he can now grab the ice rod. It doesn't really need to do it immediately or anything, but just knowing that he can grab it whenever you need it.
Yeah, it's only required for Trinex, so it's not really relevant until he's feeling ready to go to Turtle Rock. So having that cape is pretty much as good as having the ice rod at this point. We got Willard heading through the rest of Village of Outcasts. Looks like he hasn't decided to do that early Skull Woods play yet to get the Titan's Mitt. Which actually might work out in his favor, because as long as he continues south here, he will be picking up that fire rod from the digging game soon.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do all of Skull Woods in one go. And we have a sword in Super Bunny Cave for Big Dunka.
Alright, our first sword of the seed, at least as far as we're aware.
Yeah, it's definitely the first one we've seen here on the restream.
Oh, and it looks like Big Dunka also picked up the hookshot somewhere. I'm not sure if you already had that when we started featuring him or if we just missed it. Just grabbing his Cane of Berna here in the hookshot cave. Other than that, not really anything of worth.
Yeah, I believe he already had the hook shot when he got switched onto the restream. It could have been the Armos drop, something that we haven't seen, I'm fairly certain.
Mm-hmm. So Willard currently digging for his fire rod while ACM decided to finish up Desert Palace. Oh, and we're seeing a spike cave check from Big Dunka here.
Yeah, I like this. I was wondering if he's gonna do this, especially finding the Cane of Berna right there. I mean, he did already have the cape, so he could have done this either way, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And Zalnus informing me here, apparently the hookshot is in the right side of pod. So it looks like Big Dunka was heading into pod already. Probably before he got featured here on the restream.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess he went over there, finished up Eastern, did a little early dip into pod. That could actually be huge.
Yeah, I mean, who knows when these guys are actually deciding to dip into pod, and that hookshot can make a huge difference. We've already found 2 pod keys here, one from Big Dunka just there in the Spike Cave, and one from Willard in Cave 45 down south of the Grove. Oh, and a sword from the dig spot.
Alright, Nice. Alright, so that's 2 swords so far. And now he's gonna turn into his other fetch quest item.
Oh, just get done with all the fetch quests in one go.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to let them sit in your inventory and forget about them. Small key to Ganon's Tower. It marks his 3rd, so it's not going to be particularly helpful. Unless the big key ends up being buried in Ganon's Tower.
Mm-hmm. Well, looks like we're heading to Skull Woods now for Willard. With a fire rod in hand. Are we grabbing his Titan's mitts at the very least?
Yep, and that will be our first look at the back 2 items of Skullwoods. As well as a green pendant grab for him.
And it looks like ACM is heading into Pod. He has, let's see here, no small keys, so he's going to be grabbing his hookshot, as we know from Big Dumka, but other than that, he probably won't get too far in here. Oh, he does
Looks
have
like
one small key.
Yeah, he has 1, so he'll be able to get, what is that, like 5 chests in here?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, actually, he can get more, because he can go down the right side.
Oh yeah, of course, with the bow and everything. And it looks like our trackers are also aware that the only medallion we're going to be needing to seed is Quake, since both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock require Quake, apparently, which all of our runners, or at least all the featured runners here, have already found.
Yeah, Quake was just the submerged item down at the dam south of Link's house. So it's a pretty hard item to miss, so that'll be nice for all of our runners here.
Willard finally grabbing his Titan's mitts, and now, as you said, first time we're going to see the back of Skull Woods here. But TGH needs to be very careful.
Yeah, he's down to 1 heart here and blind. Oh, just barely nicking Blind's head there with that hammer hitbox. Picking up his Ice Palace big key and a crystal.
Yep, ACM just picked up his hookshot.
Let's see how he decides to spend a small key. It looks like he's probably just going to... Yeah, he's going to use it to get to back here, which will get him 3 items, and then he could bomb jump for a couple more if he wants to.
Mm-hmm. Willard is making his way back to Mothula here, decides finishing up the green pendant, absolutely worth it. Half magic, blue mail, and a bunch of hearts shouldn't really be too much of a problem, hopefully.
CMLM getting 2 heart pieces for his bomb jump so far. He's got 1 more chest in the Stark Maze to check, and 10 arrows.
Great.
Looks like he forgot he only had the 1 small key and tried to walk out.
Beautiful Mothula fight there from Willard. Grabs a map to Turtle Rock and the green pendant. So nothing too great here in the back of Skull Woods. But we'll have to see what he can get for the green pendant, maybe.
Yep, another quick map check. So I think at this point that means Willard is aware of what all the dungeons offer for rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen a lot of the maps here in this seed.
Yeah, there's been a lot of maps and a lot of big keys so far. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then as you mentioned, not many small keys though. Yeah, and here's Willard showing off the other convenience of having an extra Skullwood small key. You can actually just walk through that door from the main entrance and then mirror your way out.
Yeah, it just makes it very convenient to route this. I think other than the big chest... Oh, okay, he still has this chest left to check. Oh, and he doesn't have the big key. That's why he has to leave the big chest. That makes sense.
Yeah, we haven't seen Skullwood's big key yet. And considering it only opens the big chest, Skullwoods and Swamp Palace not needing big keys to get to the bosses, which makes it very possible for a Keysanity seed to just never give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
ACMLM clearing out Armos, getting a compass and a crystal. Just kind of pairing that with his early prod in the pod there. Lord picking up his cape, which will get him that ice rod.
And Big Dunka and TGH really kind of head-to-head here. Big Dunka deciding to mirror and flute over to the dam instead of just walking the rest of the way like TGH. Grabs a bomb upgrade from Gary's lunchbox. Not really what you want to find in there. Now it looks like Willard is going to be cleaning up Desert Palace, and once he grabs a crystal from here, he'll be the first one of our on-stream erasers to be able to check the Pyramid Fairy if he chooses to do so.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out what's back there. With this early of access to the Pyramid Fairy, there's a good chance that there's gonna be some value there.
Still missing a Desert Palace small key for the right two chests that you can have there. We'll have to see if they need to come back for those or not later on.
Yep. Big Dunka heading back into pod. We know he was here earlier because he's got that hook shot, but he's got a couple more keys and he's coming back. Let's see how he decides to spend them.
Alright, ACM is going to open up Turtle Rock. He realizes he already got the Quake Medallion required. Saves a little bit of time once you actually have the cane and everything you need to come back in here.
Beautiful ammo fight with that fire rod for Willard. Snags himself a bug net and that other big fairy crystal.
Alright, we're gonna have to see if or when he decides to go for the Pyramid Fairy check. Looks like you might want to check out the checkerboard cave first of all. Alright, we fluting. Where are we going? Oh, okay, it looks like he immediately wants to check it.
Yeah, I like this play a lot. Like I said, when you get access to Spearmint Fairy that early, there's good chances there's going to be value here. And he hasn't been to Catfish yet either, so maybe he can pair that in afterwards. You can pick up his flippers. Which may not be totally required to seed with Ice Palace and Swamp Palace both being pendants. But it might be nice to have at the very least.
And Willard can already carry 35 bombs. So we've been not slacking on bomb upgrades this seed apparently.
And ACMLM dip back into Hera real quick to, now that he has a fire source, to go check out that other basement there. Pairing that with his Spike Cave and Hookshot Cave check is pretty smart. That's going to give him that shovel, which will give him a Master Sword once he decides to turn that in.
Yeah, we're still on Fighter Sword, or in TGH's case, no sword at all so far.
Just a pod small key and a castle tower key. It's actually a convenient spot for it, because with that cape, he can go up here, Mire, and then go check those two chests in the castle tower.
Yeah, looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Well, Big Dunka seems to have decided to finish off Helmasaur here with his keys.
Yeah, and he still has one left, so he might head back in and clear out a bit more of pod, because he's only got 5 of the items in here. Ooh.
Oh, okay, he has a fairy. Phew. That was super unfortunate.
Yeah, the bottle they picked up earlier had a fairy in it. Oh, there's the red cane in the first chest in Aghanim's tower.
Oh, that's a huge find, and since Willard already has the cape, he really only needs to go past Bumper Cave, which I don't think he's checked yet. Of course, as you were mentioning earlier, we have found absolutely no sort of key for Turtle Rock at all yet.
Yeah, which, with the cane and that fire rod, you can access the first 3 chests of Turtle Rock, which could be worth checking out once he gets his hookshot from pod, which looks like that might be where he's heading now, to finish up Eastern and maybe take an early peek into pod.
Yeah, can also turn in his green pendant. He's the only one who's finished Skullwood so far, so we'll see what Sahasrara might be holding on to for us.
And it's 100 rupees.
Hooray!
Not too much of a reward, but thankfully it was just Skullwoods, and just doing that extra back part of Skullwoods doesn't take that much time. So hopefully not too big of a loss for Willard there.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I'm imagining a lot of people, if they decide to dip into Skullwoods, will... Well, since they found the Titansmiths in there before they found the fire rod, they might not go back.
Yeah, that's the one thing, is a lot of the players, at least the ones that we saw in the restream, checked Skullwoods before they found the fire rod. So it wasn't really an option, and they might not find a reason to go back.
Big Dunk is showing us here the little dark torch room in the basement of Pod. Only 10 arrows and I believe a blue or a red rupee, so nothing of worth in there at all.
Nope, and now he's gonna go bomb jump to open these other 3 chests. We saw ACM clear out earlier and just end up being 2 heart pieces and 10 arrows, so not going to be much value here. I believe that leaves the vanilla big key chest and the harmless hellway chest unchecked in pod, both of which are locked by a single small key.
Yeah, I would imagine those are the two locations that he'd leave behind. You see him finishing up his blind find beautifully.
Yeah, making quick work with that spider sword. I'm not really sure where he's gonna head from here. Do you have any idea?
I'm wondering, maybe he's planning on checking out the Pyramid Fairy right away as well. Looks like he's heading over to maybe grab his ice right now, and then maybe check the Grove ledge that he hasn't checked yet, I assume.
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's gonna pick up that ice rod. Let's see where he goes from there. We have Willard taking on Armos, TGH not far behind in Eastern. Willard picks up his crystal, and now he's gonna dip into pod.
Yep, gonna be grabbing his hook shot at the very least. Meanwhile, Big Dunka grabbing that small key from the pyramid. TGH almost done with the Almost Knights. Somehow, TGH has managed to route around all the swords that we found so far. One being at Catfish, if I remember correctly, and the other one being in the dig spot.
There was one in the Super Bunny Cave. I believe Catfish was Flippers.
Oh, okay.
And TGH is actually the only one on the restream that's checked Catfish.
And it does look like Big Dunka hasn't checked the Uncle and Escape sequence yet, so he's gonna do that now. I don't remember, did we find anything particularly crazy down here?
I think the most valuable thing we found here was blue mail.
So that means it's gonna be red mail for Big Dunka. That means he's gotta have found a mail somewhere that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even. Yeah, I assumed he got it from here.
Yeah, me too.
And there's a hook shot for Willard. And yeah, Dunka's gonna be picking up his red mail from this chest right here. I remember there being a heart piece down in Zelda's cell. I don't remember there even being any keys or anything here. Escape was kind of a bust for the most part.
On ACM opting not to kill that bird is gonna take a hit here. That bird is so annoying if you don't kill it before the animation starts.
ACM making the play into Mire.
Interesting choice.
I mean, this makes a lot of sense. I think, given what he has, it's a little unfortunate, given what we know, because we know that the cane is the first chest in Egnon's tower, which would allow them to full clear this dungeon. Oh wait. Oh no, he hasn't picked up the big key yet either, which was on Hobo.
There's a Thieves Town small key.
Skullwood's big key. That might give him a reason to go back if he feels like checking that big chest and then killing Mothula, which big chest we haven't seen the contents yet of, obviously, since ACM's the first one on Restream to go into Mire. We do know the rest of Skullwoods doesn't hold much value though.
Yeah, and sadly we also know that Sahasrara only gives us $100.
There are the silver arrows, though.
Alright, that's a pretty nice find.
Yeah, those are very, very helpful in speeding up a lot of the fights in this game.
Looks like Big Dunka is about to be grabbing his Cane of Samaria here.
He's heading right over to the Mire area. Sees that it's a crystal.
Yep, gonna be heading right in there.
I can see on his pause screen, though, that he definitely does not have the big key yet.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen it yet, at least. Like, on the stream anywhere.
I'm pretty sure it was the reward from Hobo. I thought I saw TGH grab.
Oh.
Yeah, because TGH has a lot of the big keys. He's got Mire, he's got Turtle Rock. Which means flippers are technically required to get the Mire big key at the very least. But those are also very accessible for fake flippers.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're getting in Zane here instead of TGH.
So question in chat here, the silvers were in the left side of Mire, which I believe Big Dunka just picked up.
And we've got our friend Solsky here, switching in for ACM. We're gonna get the trackers updated in just a second, so bear with us.
We're clearing out the turtle party there. Our room can be a little unwieldy sometimes, especially when you don't have a upgraded sword to do kind of the speed run spin / strat. But now he's entering this Helmosaur fight. With all that health in the blue mail, shouldn't be a big issue. Well,
decides to go for the hammer instead of the bow. Now he switches. It can be annoying to hit him because he walks so fast when his mask is off, but it's a lot safer.
Yeah, they're both kind of tricky weapons to hit Helmosaur with. As you mentioned, once that mask comes off, he gets really aggressive, starts moving around a lot faster. And that hammer hitbox is pretty small. It's only a few pixels. So you have to get right up in his face to try to hit him with it. It does do tempered sword damage, so it's only 4 hammer hits. But it's very dangerous, as you saw there. Willard taking a bunch of damage trying to get those hammer hits in. Only takes 8 arrows, and tends to be quite a bit safer since you're in a lot less risk of getting just bodied.
Yeah, and that's crystal number 5 for Willard, so despite still missing a couple of items for Gomo and everything, especially keys, we're moving along pretty nicely here.
Yeah, keys are the big thing. We've seen a decent amount of the big keys, but there's still a lot of small keys, particularly that Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock, we haven't really seen any small keys yet, and you need at least 3 to be able to get the Trinex.
And it seems to me like Willard is going to take the risk and dip into Turtle Rock. Hasn't even grabbed his Ice Rod yet, not that he's going to be having any use for it for quite a while, unless he finds a ton of vanilla keys.
Yeah, but I don't believe he's checked out Bumper Case, so he doesn't know the Ice Rod is there.
Mm-hmm.
But he also hasn't been up here on Dark World Death Mountain yet. So yeah, as we might see him dip in to check the first few chests of Turtle Rock, but he's also going to be up here to check out that Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. So makes some sense to make this trip right now.
Yeah. We also see Solsky dipping in here. And apparently Zane just got a Turtle Rock small key from Zora, so we now know what the big fish holds for us.
Yeah, Big Donka back in Skullwoods. He's gonna be checking out what's in this big chest here. A small key to Misery Mire. Say another one of the more useless small keys you can find in this mode. Because with Skullwoods and Misery Mire and Keysanity are both fully completable, fully clearable without any outside small keys.
Yep.
Oh, and Zane diving into Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace is a pendant, but we do have the flippers from Catfish, the mirror from Link's house, hammer and hookshot. Typically when Keysanity gives you all the tools and that small key to get into Swamp Palace, when Keysanity gives you all the tools you need to do a dungeon, you typically are going to need to go inside and get something from it.
Yeah, usually it doesn't really mean much if a dungeon is pendant or crystal, you know, especially in Keysanity.
Definitely, that's why a lot of times, especially early on, you won't even see some players even check the map, even if they have maps to find out if dungeons are crystals or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't end up being relevant until you're nearing that go mode. This is gonna be very interesting because we also have Solsky on the top right here, heading into Mire. I'm not sure if he has a big key. Hoping to find out next time he pauses here.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes with how quick these guys menu. Looks like we've only got Bombos in here and Turtle Rock for Willard, so that's going to be his trip to Turtle Rock until he finds some more small keys.
Yeah, big dunk up, picking up his green pennant. Fortunately, that's only going to be worth 100 rupees from our old pal Sasrala.
Alright, so we're continuing on. We see Zane just making his way over to the left side of Swamp, doesn't want to leave anything behind, as we said earlier. Even though it's a pendant dungeon, and even though it takes quite a while to clear, you really don't want to run the risk of leaving that one key behind that ends up taking you another 20 minutes to get back to.
For sure, and skipping left side in Keysanity is a much more dangerous prospect compared to an open or standard seed. You'll see a lot of high runner players do that fairly often, because odds are there's decent odds that it won't even be 2 items over on left side. Typically, they'll clear out the rest of the dungeon, and if it is 2 items, they might go back in and take a little bit of the extra time and kind of just risk the first trip through, or just hoping kind of like Map and Compass will be over here. In Keysanity, it could be anything. There's no way to determine by clearing the rest of the dungeon whether those 2 chests are going to have value or not.
Yeah, you'll need to either really just gamble on it and leave it and hope it's nothing in there, or you have to check. That's your only 2 options. And almost Sim Skullwood's big key from Willard and Solsky, though Solsky decides to mirror back out and not continue on into Misery Mire.
He just finished clearing out the rest of the dungeon, man. His big key stuff. He decided to end with that while Willard is starting his Mire trek with that chest.
Oh.
So unfortunately, yeah, Solsky didn't have the Mire big key while he was in there. According to our trackers here, Zane is the only one on the restream with the Mire big key. And unfortunately, Swamp not having much of value for Zane, unless Argus drops something nice here. This whole trip could not pay out much of anything.
Yeah, not going to be a fun Argus fight either.
He's only got a fighter sword, so he's going to be menuing back and forth from this hook shot to the hammer to kill these puffballs. The alternative method here is with the fighter sword, you can charge up a spin slash, hook shot a puffball, and release the spin and hit it twice to finish them off. It can be a little bit trickier because it's very easy to accidentally poke the puffball with your sword while you're holding it out, which will cancel your charge. Which saves you a bit of menu time, but overall, even if you do that strategy pretty well, it's not going to be much more efficient. It's 2 strategies pretty much come out in the wash, and this is just a lot easier, a lot safer.
Unfortunately, missing there with the fire arch shot. There we go.
And there's Big Dunka picking up the big key to Misery Mire from the hobo. So a little fake flipper trick down there.
So Willard fluting over to Kakariko. I'm kind of wondering where these guys are going to go next.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Willard might be going to check that bumper cave out now. 'Cause I feel like he's done just about everything else over in this area. Or he could be heading into Thieves Town? No?
To be frank, I'm a little bit surprised we haven't seen an Ice Palace on stream yet. I mean, you know, it's Ice Palace and it's a pendant, but at this point... Oh, okay. Willard hasn't done the whole frog and Gary's lunchbox thing yet.
Oh yeah, there's that. Okay, we got Zane on the top left here is a Misery Mire. He's got that big key in hand. So this will be our first looks at the big chest and whatever Vitreous drops once he finishes clearing out this dungeon.
Which will conveniently also be his 6th crystal. Really only missing all those Turtle Rock keys. And of course his Ice Rod.
Yeah, and the Ganon Sour big key is yet to be found.
Oh, of course. Can't forget about that. Also, despite already seeing it, he could really do with that. Oh, no, he has the Master Sword. Never mind me.
As you mentioned, we haven't seen an Ice Palace play yet, so that could be where all the Turtle Rock small keys are hiding out.
I mean, it feels like there really isn't too much left other than that.
Yeah, not really. There's a couple miscellaneous things. I don't think we've seen the Thieves Town big chest yet. I don't think anyone's wanted to make that double dip trip back in there just for that. Things haven't gotten that desperate yet. There's a Turtle Rock small key in the big chest of Mire.
Alright, so that's number 2.
Big Dunka just picked up his Mire big key from the hobo not too long ago. And he's already cleared out all of this dungeon minus the big chest and Vitreous. So he's joined Zane and Mire here. Which will be his 5th crystal.
Yeah, just as you were mentioning it, both Solsky and Willard heading back into Thieves Town apparently for that big chest. Solsky letting his muscle memory take over a little bit, wanted to grab that key up there.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to have your muscle memory betray you in Randomizer.
It sure is. So Big Duncan now coming up on Vitreous. As you said earlier, going to be the first one to show us what we can find, along with that crystal that we definitely need.
It's just a pod small key in the Thieves Town big chest.
Oh, there's another sword on Vitreous, so that would be our tempered sword.
Yep, it was the Master Sword for Dunka. It looks like we are swapping out for Kyung. As Zane makes his way towards Vitreous, and that will be his tempered sword. We have Kyung making progress into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it looks like he's had the keys required to get a little further in. We'll have to see if he decides to go further in with that key that he can steal here, or check that vanilla big key chest, which I think he's definitely going to skip.
Yeah, it looks like he already has his tempered sword.
Gets turned into a little mushroom for a second there. Willard now on his way to grab his ice rod.
Kyung heading out. He's gonna pop over into Mimic Cave. He's definitely praying to find a Turtle Rock small key here, and he only needs one more. And he's got this, the big chest, and 5 Turtle Rock small chest checks. So there's a decent chance he might just find a Turtle Rock small key here.
Nothing in Mimic Cave yet, but yeah, as you say, just one key missing. That's all he needs. Alright, Young venturing on into Turtle Rock. Still looking for that last small key that he needs.
Yeah, he's got 4 chances at it. If we don't find it here, it doesn't look like he's gone into Ice Palace yet, so that's looking like our most likely culprit, which Zane is heading into right now. So this could be a game changer if there's no Turtle Rock big key here, or small key rather. And there's again a Sour big key.
Alright, that's a good one.
Oh, such a tease. I saw the small key and I was like, is this it?
Yeah, that's horrible. When you find a small key, but then that text box pops up and you really, really hope it doesn't. Alright, Kyung, where are you going? It looks like he hasn't been to Swamp Palace yet, which might be his next stop right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading that way. Unfortunately, don't believe he's gonna find what he's looking for here. It's really looking like it has to be Ice Palace at this point.
Willard grabbing his flippers from the Quakefish at about 1 hour and 30 minutes in, not quite yet, but almost. And Solsky is still strangely almost synced up with him.
Yeah, they've been operating on like the same wavelength for a little while now. Oh, Zane getting that ice fall bomb jump and then unfortunately falling in the pit right afterward.
No, that's always annoying.
But nails it again. And he's heading into the back half of Ice Palace, so we're going to be seeing what this dungeon has in store for us pretty shortly here. Which at this point is really the only big unexplored area for us on the restream.
Mm-hmm. Willard grabbing his first small Turtle Rock key from Zora.
Oh, and there's a book.
Oh man.
That's going to open up the Ether and Bombos tablets. Either which could also have a Turtle Rock small key. We got Kyung heading into the back half of Swamp Palace, while Willard and Solsky are about to start Swamp Palace.
Yeah, it looks like all these guys deciding, okay, Swamp Palace has the biggest chance for me to find some more Turtle Rock small keys.
Yeah, I don't really blame them. It's always a tough situation to be in when you have the choice between Pendant Swamp and Pendant Ice.
Yeah, and just from item locations alone, I think everyone would rather go to Swamp just because you have a bigger density of items there.
There's the Ganon's Tower small key in Ice Palace.
Close, not quite.
Which means there's actually not a Turtle Rock small key in here unless it's in this small chest or Cold Stare. And that's a heart piece. But we did find the book. So maybe the book will lead to a Turtle Rock small key.
Alright, Zane jumping into his Cold Stare fight now.
Kyung picking up his gold sword from Argus. They're making quick and easy work of Cold Stare for 10 measly arrows.
That was not worth it.
Well, Zane's got a few places he can go check. He's got that Bombos tablet, the Ether tablet, as well as the pedestal.
Yep, haven't seen what's on there yet, at least not on stream.
Which looks like that might be where he's going. And with Skullwoods being his remaining pendant and the green pendant right there, it makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like Zane wants to check out the rest of Skullwoods here. Not necessarily a bad choice. We see that he's cleared most of the dungeons, at least those that he can, with the exception of Skullwood, so might as well go check that. Maybe throw a pedestal check in there, as you said.
Yeah, it looks like he just needs to go in here and kill Moth.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd already been here earlier and grabbed that small chest in the back side of this dungeon. I think it's a little weird choice to opt to check that and then not just clear out the dungeon for the green pendant while you're here. But I guess he's gonna do that now. And that will give him pedestal access and 100 rupees from our boy Sahasrara.
Yep.
And that Turtle Rock small key from Moth. Is that what he dropped? I forgot.
Did you really?
There's something for Turtle Rock, or was it a map? I think it was the map, actually.
And now Kyong heading into Ice Palace, his second pendant choice that he has here.
And a full heart on the pedestal for Zane.
No pedestal hype today. So at this point, an hour and 35 minutes in, looking mainly for Turtle Rock small keys for most of these guys. Haven't had too much luck yet.
Yeah, and locations are running dry. We have the two tablets, the Bombus and Ether tablet at large still. What was in the Lumberjack Cave? Was it a small key?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if we've ever seen it checked on stream, and if we have, I might have missed it.
So I do believe we found both Tower Eggnum Sour keys. So if there's a small key in there, odds are it's a Turtle Rock small key at this point. We got a Mire from Zane. It looks like he's gonna go check. Although we would still need boots, so it wouldn't do us much good unless we find boots. And it's just a red rupee anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, and we do have those 2 small chests in pod that I don't think we've seen on the restream yet. The vanilla big key chest and the small chest in the Harmless Hellway.
Yeah, those are also an option.
So yeah, we mostly seen people clear out locations that we've already seen on stream already. That's Willard and Kyung and Ice Palace, Solsky and Mire. Zane's doing some overworld cleanup. And the big thing we're looking for is this Turtle Rock small keys. Kyung in particular is 1 Turtle Rock small key away from go mode.
Yeah, there really isn't much missing at all. All these guys really only looking for that small key for the most part anyways. Oh, and we've got Zelga Dissen on stream now. Already on his Ganon fight, so it looks like this is the #1 player here currently.
Yeah, looks like Selga about to enter phase 4 of the Master Sword Ganon. He's got the silver arrows though, so all the hard work is pretty much done.
Yeah, needs to be a little bit careful here. It's down to 2 hearts. I'm not sure what his bottle contents are. The only bottle I can see is an empty one, but shouldn't have too much trouble here anymore in the last phase. Already 2 silver arrows in.
Yeah, it looks like based just on his items. Yeah, there's the boots for Keong on the Bombos tablet. Based on his items, it looks like he probably just made all the right plays. So you're talking early on. It was those kind of gambles with a little bit of luck that was gonna lead to the top runner in this race.
Alright, and GG to Zelga Dissen on winning this crazy tiebreaker of 30 people. He will be moving on to the 8-man bracket stages as the only one from all of these people, unfortunately.
Yeah, putting up a very solid time. It's that 1:40:43 is SRL official time.
already switched out to Arior here, who is also in GT already, on his way to Moldorm 2 at the moment. We'll see if we can get Zelga in here for a post-game interview.
Yep, Zane and Kyong. It's their newfound boots. Checking the boot locations. Finding Desert Palace Small Key and Magic Powder in the 2 bonk locations by the Sanctuary.
Alright, now Arior on his way up to the Aga 2 fight gets a little trolled by the mini-helmets here. Needs to watch out for his health. Okay, looks like Zelga should be joining us here shortly. While we watch Arior fight his Aga 2 fight, and is already done with it.
We are dropping into the Ganon fight as Ganon makes his way into Turtle Rock. We picked up that small key from the Magic Bat. Looks like we got Zelga in voice with us here. Congratulations.
Oh, GG's. Man, I am beyond surprised here.
Yeah, GG's, man. Looks like you made all the right plays. Unfortunately, we switched to you relatively late, you know, with 30 people running and only 4 being featured on stream. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything sometimes.
Oh, sure. And, I mean, honestly, I'm beyond amazed that this actually worked out the way it did.
Assuming you fake powdered?
I did fake powder, and I totally forgot it was a Turtle Rock key until basically about 15 seconds ago.
Yeah, that really seems to have made all the difference, because what most people have been looking for all this time is Turtle Rock small keys.
Yeah, that was your game-winning play right there. That's insane. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. Because yeah, basically, Boots ended up being on Bombo's tablet, which Boots led to Powder. Book was in Ice Palace, so you had to go to Ice Palace, get the book, go to Bombo's tablet, get the Boots, to open up Bonker Rots to get the Powder, to Powder to Magic Bat to get that Turtle Rock small key, and you cut out that entire sequence, which saved a ton of time.
Wow, that would explain it, because when I realized that there was a chance I could win, I don't know when exactly you guys cut in on me, but I had already cleared out all of Turtle Rock up to Laser Bridge, so I felt pretty bad until I found that third key with Misery Mire, and that's when I hit my go mode whenever Vitreous dropped the Master Sword.
Yeah, that was really the only, I don't even want to call it a downside, but that was really your only negative effect from routing the way you did, because most of the people are either on Tempered, some of them are on Butter Sword.
Yeah, I'm just hopping into the stream right now, and I'm like seeing the Butter Swords and Tempered, and I'm super jealous, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, Master Sword Ganon's It's scary, but thankfully you had those silver arrows too, and I mean, you got first place out of it, so.
Yeah, honestly, I did some kind of early gambles that I thought put me really behind. Like in Hyrule Castle, I stole the second guard key, and then sequence broke all the way to the back in the dark instead of going cell to cell.
And there's
it was
nothing back there.
nothing. It was a gigantic waste of time.
But those are the kind of plays you need to make in kind of a 30-way race with only one person moving on. So that one in particular didn't work out for you, but the fake powder definitely did.
Yeah, I'm really amazed. I had totally forgot it was a Turtle Rock key, to be honest, until I just realized that basically at the last minute that after I'd already finished, like it didn't even cross my mind where that third Turtle Rock key was. So that's why I felt really behind going into Ganon's Tower, to be honest. But I guess because of it being fake powder, that's really what kind of saved me.
Now, just to catch up the stream real quick there, we did have Error finish with a 145.48, so just over 5 minutes behind Zelga here. And we've now switched ACM in for that spot on the restream. So are you are you excited? Are you ready for these the bracket?
Oh man, I thought I was gonna win my freedom today, and now I've got another week at least.
Yeah, no freedom for you, man. Now the real challenge begins. I mean, some would argue that this qualifier might have been even harder than the brackets that are ahead, but it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that's in that 5-0 group is amazing. For one thing, that's why I lost, is because of someone in that 5-0 group. So I already know I'm in for a ridiculous challenge, but I'll see what I can do, man. Looking forward to it.
Well, if anything, today you've proven that you can absolutely hang with the big guys there. And of course, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything else that you want to get off your chest, or do you have any other questions, Swerb?
No, not really. Do you have any final thoughts on the seed, Zelga?
Overall, this seemed like it was a really nice scene. I wish I had made some different plays than I did, but I guess I made the one that really counted, which was that fake powder. So I'm really happy with it. And I just want to give a special shout out to everybody behind the scenes doing the restreaming, the tracking, you guys on the commentary, like the tracking in particular. I'm sure it's ridiculous today, and Feasel's always doing, Feasel stuff. He's always going to be doing amazing work, but it's still always appreciated, and I'm really happy to be part of this tournament.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you, and best of luck to you in brackets.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, and thanks for the awesome race today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Alright, so we got a couple more people here in Ganon's Tower. Looks like Hyung heading up now in the torch room with Actaboker, while TGH is checking out the left side here. I'm not 100% sure what he's looking for. The big key, I'm guessing?
Yeah, he doesn't have the big key, which means he skipped Laser Bridge for some reason or another. Which, I mean, Ganon's Tower big key is most likely to be in Ganon's Tower, especially as you get later into the seed and locations start dwindling.
Mm-hmm.
But skipping the Laser Bridge, and there's 4 chests right there, and it's not even very much out of your way. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Oh, okay, and we're getting confirmation that TGH has actually forfeited the race and glitched into Ganon's Tower, and that's how he got here in the first place.
Okay, that makes sense.
Alright, we got Actoboker now heading into his Aga 2 fight.
Yeah, we got a pretty close race between Kyong and Ak here on the restream. Kyong just finishing up his Aga 2. Ak, I think, just needs one more hit, and there it is. And then we got Coughlin in the top left there, entering Ganon's tower.
Kyung starting his Ganon fight a little bit earlier than Ak. Also has Butter Sword, which doesn't really make too much of a difference compared between the difference that you get from Master Sword to Tempered Sword. But it's not going to help Ak catch up anymore. Not that it really matters, but you know.
Yeah, the Tempered Sword versus Gold Sword on Ganon can make no difference at all. Sometimes. Because it is possible to one cycle each of the first two phases with either sword. It's just much easier with the Gold Sword. And sometimes you need a little bit of luck to guarantee it with the Tempered Sword. So we saw Kyong here definitely got the 2-1 cycles, whereas Ak needed an extra cycle on the first phase. Just a million Ganon teleports.
Never stops.
Oh my god, what is this?
Oh, I see him having a really nice Aga 2 setup there, but gets a little unlucky with the reflections from the ball.
And there's our third finish for Kyong with a 153.47.
Yep, GG to him and Ak right behind him.
Yeah, and there's Ak finishing with a 154.21. So GG's to both of them. Two very good times. Really, anything under 2 hours for a Keysanity is pretty solid. And this one was definitely pretty trolly. Particularly if you didn't do that fake powder.
Yeah, that really seemed to have made all the difference in the seed. That Turtle Rock small key he got from that fake powder put him so far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, Zelga finished 5 minutes ahead of second, and then nearly 13 minutes ahead of Kyong in third. Now ACMLM is on the million teleports phase of Ganon.
Yeah, none of our runners will be spared that, unfortunately. The RNG will be the same for everyone. Alright, GG to ACM, who has now finished as well. Being switched out for Zane. We've got the lane now on his way to Trolldown 2, while Fred Coughlin, our resident Zelda 1 randomizer master, currently on his Aga 2 fight, gets a nice double there.
Yeah, and then we got Zane and isn't even my final form starting Ganon at nearly the same time.
Alright, we've got a couple of Ganon and Aga 2 fights going on here, even though the lane is now also heading into his Ganon fight. GG to Zane. Finishing up in 6th place. These Ganon teleports. We've seen them a couple times already, but
It's too much. It still gets me every time. Yeah, we've had some finishes from Zane, Wolfie, and it isn't even my final form. Finishing up just now.
Yep, it looks like Fred is right behind him now, holding up his sword, hearing that fanfare.
Now we got the lane finishing up the 3rd phase of Ganon. Going into that final phase. Just 4 silver arrows lined it as Megas, and as it says, start ascending Ganon's tower with Prior already halfway up.
GG to the lane now, also finishing up in 10th place with an official SRL time of 2 hours and 49 seconds. So we're only just now starting to scratch on the 2-hour mark. Still a very respectable time for all of these guys, especially considering how that small Turtle Rock he could have sent them around.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, sub 2 in the seed, the way it played out, if you didn't fake powder, sub 2 was a very good time. And just over 2 hours, still very respectable. Because a lot of these players have obviously nearly full clears the game at this point.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of Keysanity in a nutshell, it feels like sometimes.
Oh, definitely. There's definitely a much higher collection rate in Keysanity on average. You just gotta hope you full clear the game in the right order.
Alright, now Pryor here on his Aga 2 fight, while we see the other 3 featured runners making their way up Ganon's tower. Pryor going to be starting his Ganon fight here around the 2-hour, 3-minute mark, probably a little bit earlier. Here come the teleports. Alright, finally Pryor getting the chance to bring Ganon to the last phase here, barely missing the torch glitch.
Yeah, it was very nice phase 4 from him. It almost would have been very beautiful if he managed to light that first torch just in time. But still, a very nice fight. A solid finish from Pryor. Snagged that 11th place with a 2:04.31.
Yep, nicely done. And meanwhile, Almagus has finished up his Aga 2 fight. Korik has just finished up his Trolldorm 2 fight. And Azazas is now heading to his Aga 2 fight. Alright, Almagus armed with a butter sword. Gonna be making quick work of all these phases, just those teleports, man.
Oh man, we need to count how many teleports this is. It's kind of absurd.
Okay, 3 of our 4 runners on the Ganon fight. Almagus now going into the last phase. Should be having no issues.
Almost got that triple.
Oh yeah,
Last
very
arrow to
close.
finish him off.
GG Elmagus finishing in 12th place. 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 51 seconds.
It's 12 teleports, by the way, if anyone else is wondering. I had to count after seeing it for
Wow.
like the 10th time. 12
Jeez.
teleports in a row.
That is just awful. Oh man, and this race here between Korek and Azaza, really close. Korek seems to be getting the last arrow in just a couple seconds earlier.
Yeah, just barely beat him out there. That fanfare snipe. So yeah, we had Elmagus finish up in 12th with a 206.51. Korek was in 13th at 207.52, and then this is as 4 seconds behind in 14th.
Yep, and as we see, Elminster just being switched in. He is now dropping into his Ganon fight, just a couple of seconds behind T-Stew.
We got Willard and someone about to head into their Ganon fight. Willard J. Bradley in the IRC chat calling dibs on 15th. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, we have a little more information than he does, and by the looks of it, probably 17th, maybe 18th, depending on how well his Ganon fight goes. Now T-Stew and Elements are dealing with the 12 teleports of Ganon. Now Elements are actually getting a Sword Slash in there, a silverless Sword Slash on accident.
Yeah, just spamming that sword slash while he's teleporting. Yep, there's 15th for Elminster with a 209.28. And Willard J. Bradley finishing up as well. Snags himself 16th place. With an SRL official time of 2:10.19. Just moments after calling dibs on 15th.
Yeah, close enough. Alright, and we see someone 3255 just finishing up his Ganon fight while Shady Force is dealing with all the teleports.
Yep, we got T-Stew finishing up just before that in 17th. Someone takes 18th. Shady Force heading into 4th phase Ganon. Sabotender on his way to Ganon, and Mentos Man also entering that 4th phase of Ganon. We got Shady Force opting to do Silver Rose Ganon. Despite him having silver, just like every other runner. Picking those up
Yeah.
from Mire that were pretty hard to miss.
With a butter sword, why not?
It's good practice. And at this point, most people are done, and the only one that really mattered was the that first place finish that Zelga snagged.
Yep, exactly.
So I mean, after that, you might as well just have fun with it, right?
Yeah, as we saw, or almost saw, TGH was messing around with some glitches. Shady Force decided to do silverless just for the heck of it.
Yep, he snagged himself 20th place with a 2:12.09. Sabotender finishing up right after him here in that fanfare. Well, as we're kind of just seeing people finish up here, yeah, I'd like to do another quick. Oh, hold on. Alright. As we're just seeing people kind of finish up here, I want to do another quick shout out for everyone behind the scenes working on this. Again, this is a 30-way tiebreaker race for the Keysanity tournament. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes here. We had Zelnus and Ninban doing the on-screen tracking here for the item trackers you see on scene, but on top of that, we had like 15 people watching the individual racers, tracking them. So big shout outs to everyone involved. We definitely couldn't have done it without all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to give a big shout out to the speed gaming staff as a whole, and especially Fiesel, who's been doing an awesome job hot swapping in and out these people here that you see on the restream, keeping everything running smoothly and showing you exactly what you want to see. Definitely the MVP today. And as you were mentioning, as we were watching the last couple of people here finishing up, I also want to mention that you guys should stick around after this, because pretty shortly after this tiebreaker race finishes up, we are going to have a special showcase, a Zelda randomizer run here of a Plando with a special twist. And that twist is going to be that the bombs are going to be disabled, which should be making for a pretty interesting scene. So I advise everyone to stick around once we're done here.
Yeah, that should be. I heard about that. It should be a very fun, interesting Plando to watch. Sounds like a fun challenge.
Yeah, and keep in mind it's not just, oh, okay, it's a randomizer, but there's no bombs. It's a specially made Plando, which means there will probably be very much troll potential, and those disabled bombs will, well, I would say come in handy or important, but since we don't have any bombs, they definitely won't be coming in handy.
Alright, looks like we got backer Bowler heading into the Ganon fight.
Looks like Bacher Bowler took a couple of seconds to think about if he really wanted to fight Ganon or not. And just to get back to that Plando race again, the Plando race is happening at 4 p.m. EST, so in 35 minutes around, not quite.
As Backer enters the doesn't teleport phase. We got Stinger making his way through the gauntlet. Troops are just picked up his boots, which will eventually lead to the powder and that missing Turtle Rock small key he's going to need to finish up the seed. Alright, there's the fanfare for Backer.
Yep, managed to beat the seed as well, snagging himself at 22nd place.
Yep, with a 2:19:54 SRL.
So as we were watching our last two runners here today, I want to remind everyone that now the top 8 in the brackets will be Fifurame, Pickapals, Jet82, Christos Owen, Zaffa Beeblebrox IV, Problems IRL, Andy, and as we saw today, Zelga Disan. So look forward to these 8 people bringing you a pretty exciting bracket stage, I'd imagine. It's going to be pretty tough.
Yep, definitely, and it's gonna be fun to watch. When you get to the bracket stages of these tournaments or the later stages, and you start having best 2 of 3 matches, it gets really interesting. As you watch players kind of adjust their strategies for a match 2 or 3. And yeah, just to recap, the seed, yeah, Zelga is in chat here, but definitely a fairly trolly seed, as most of our players ended up hunting for a Turtle Rock small key to finish up, which, through the logic, required you to get the flippers from Catfish, to go into Ice Palace, to get the book, which led to either a Turtle Rock small key on Ether, or the boots on Bombos, which led to Magic Powder in the Bonk Rock Cave, which led to the other 4th Turtle Rock small key on the Magic Bat. Zelga snagged first place with a very impressive 140. Because he fake powdered and got that Magic Bat key early. And Error, also in chat, was the only other racer to do that. And finished up in second place, 5 minutes behind him. Keong snagged third place, about 13 minutes behind, and he was the first runner to finish without doing that sequence break.
Yeah, it really was a crazy sequence if you wanted to get the Turtle Rock key from the Batman the normal way. That fake powder was absolutely gold in this seed.
Yeah, that allowed doing that little sequence break allowed Zelga to skip Ice Palace, and then also he didn't step into Swamp Palace, which a lot of players did because they were looking for that Turtle Rock key.
Yeah, and that 140 time you mentioned really says it all. It saved him so much time not dipping into these palaces at all.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays that win these large races. And it's actually like really interesting because I'm kind of the person who's my own play style. I typically don't worry too much about doing something like fake powder because I'm kind of like, what are the odds like it's actually going to save you a ton of time?
Yeah,
like if I really need powder, like it'll show up when I need it. But this is the prime example of why those sequence breaks can save you a ton of time.
Yep, meanwhile here Stinger is dropping into his Ganon fight. He's down to 2 hearts, but I believe he might still have a fairy. Meanwhile, Troopster is heading over to Trinex, about to grab his last crystal and then head into Ganon's tower as well. Alright, Stinger made it through the horrible teleports, and Troopster made short work of Trinex. Giving him the Watt 4 with the ice right there.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta give Trinex the business with those rods at the end there.
Yeah, I don't blame him. GG to Stinger finishing up his seed. He managed to snag 23rd place with a time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 17 seconds. So, Troopster, gonna be our last, but definitely not our least runner. Finishing the seed is no easy feat, and seeing it all the way through, no matter how long you take, is something to be proud of, I'd say.
It's definitely commendable. Especially with about a 20% forfeit rate in this seed. So there he goes. As he goes up and ascends Ganon's tower. We did mention this not too long ago, but I did want to give one last shout out to, again, all the people behind the scenes that made this happen. 30 people racing in this, and we had a tracker for about every 2 races. So I wanted to shout them out, and I'll just give them a shout out by name real quick while we have the time. So shout outs to Dragon Master, Synak, Maligord, Miss Metroid, Hexmage, B-Links, Melee Wizard, Slim Kirby, Haha Cell, Death Star, Number Play, X-Rock, Dragon Strike, Recitador, Nif Boy, and Raspberry Floof for really helping things go smoothly behind the scenes, letting the resumers know who to switch in and out, and try to make this race as enjoyable as possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, huge thank you to all the behind-the-scenes people you just mentioned. Of course, also, again, a huge thank you to Zelnas and Ninban, our 2 on-screen trackers who kept everything as up-to-date as they could on the screen. And also the Speed Gaming team.
Yep, Speed Gaming, Feasel, as always. Just holding this whole ship together, keeping things running. We all really appreciate it here.
And of course, not to forget, my wonderful co-commentator. Thank you, Swerve, for commentating this crazy race with me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was fun to do commentary with you, Herfy. I don't believe I've done commentary with you. It was a lot of fun. And I was happy and honored to do this giant, chaotic mess of a tiebreaker.
Yep, right back at ya.
Definitely kept things interesting.
Yeah, it sure did. I'm still kind of reeling from that sequence to the powder and everything beyond. So troops are now in his Landmo 2 fight, gets the first one down. Unfortunately, gets knocked around a little bit by that fireball, which means he missed one Landmo less.
Yeah, even with Silveros, getting the 1 cycle on Landmo 2 can be a little bit tricky. That Medusa head shooting fireballs at you can throw a surprisingly tricky wrench into the mix there. Kind of the best trick to it is to stand off a little bit to the right, and just as that fireball starts shooting, you wanna move left and get yourself centered up there. So kind of like when you're fighting Ganon, you want to bait that fire bat so you can do the torch glitch. You kind of want to bait this fireball in the same way.
Oh, unfortunate there. Sometimes you just come at these guys at such an angle that you bounce off their little... What are they called?
They're little trident things. I don't know.
Yeah, tridents. Yeah, that works.
They're forks. Ganon has a trident. They're those are just forks. Let's be honest.
I mean, it's kind of fitting. They're all little pigs, right? So you stick the fork in the bacon.
But yeah, definitely that room. Kind of the best thing you can do is just move to the right a little bit and dash up. And 97% of the time, RNG will work out and you'll be fine. But sometimes you just take a hit and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, a little bit of an unfortunate dash. I really like the dash strategy here on Trolldorm 2 if you have the Butter Sword. It's depending on how he moves, but usually it is pretty safe.
Yeah, typically on a Moldorm, it's generally almost all the time. I'm not gonna say 100%, but pretty close. If you're dashing east to west or left to right, you can dash around pretty safely. It's the north and south you got to be worried about.
Oh man!
The way this arena is laid out makes the left to right dash pretty consistent. There we go. We got his revenge. He's giving him a little bit of the powder.
There we go.
Try to turn him into a giant fairy.
I think he's trying to hurt the eyes. Sprinkle a little powder in the eyes.
The old pocket sand trick.
Oh, I thought he was gonna hover back there for a second.
Oh, beautiful triple to start that Ega 2 fight.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Followed it up with a double. Unfortunately missed one there. But should be getting the 4 cycle here. Still a very good fight.
Yep, very nicely done. And off to the Ganon fight we go. Remember guys, we still got 12 teleports to deal with, amongst other things that Ganon throws at us. Ooh, nice dodge there. Here go the teleports.
Yep. All 12 of them. Seed needed one last troll, obviously.
He's not very happy. I like that Ganon stopped when he placed the bomb, though. That's very nice of him. Oh, almost a double, but very nice. Gets him right away again.
There's that last arrow to finish it off.
GG.
GG to Troopster. So that fanfare plays. He will snag himself 24th place with a 234.14. So good game to him and all of our runners.
Yep, GG.
Yeah, that was a wonderful race. And kudos to everyone that just finished, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot to all these runners. Please, guys, if you enjoyed what you saw from pretty much any and all of these guys today, please make sure to support them, throw them a follow, tell them that you like their race. All these guys did a really good job to even get into this tiebreaker, and finishing this seed wasn't an easy feat either, so they all deserve our respect.
Yeah, for sure. And make sure to drop a follow on these speed gaming channels here if you haven't yet. This concludes the Swiss stage of this tournament. This is our final tiebreaker match to determine the 8th and final spot for the bracket stages. So please drop a follow on these speed gaming stages, our channels, if you want to continue watching this tournament into the bracket stages. And then, as Herfy here mentioned earlier, coming up here in about 15 minutes will be an exhibition of a planned randomizer seed with no bombs, which should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. Thanks again to everyone involved behind the scenes and everyone making this happen. It was pretty crazy, but we got through it. Thanks again, of course, also to you, Swerp. It was a pleasure, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, of course, and thank you to you, man. It was a lot of fun.
All right, guys, so as we said, stick around. That's it from us, and we'll be seeing you in the bracket stages.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.